Hey, how's it going, everyone? This is Wylam here. So welcome back to the crypto vlog. So this week, there's definitely a lot of interesting things to talk about because just before last week's vlog came out, there was a huge crash in the market and that created a lot of opportunities. It also created a lot of fear. And there's some really interesting things that I want to talk about in terms of investment strategies when it comes to that. So what I'm talking about is right here. So basically on the morning of the 10th. So we just went past midnight all the way into the 11th into the afternoon. There was this huge crash. So basically we went from $3,400 all the way back to basically where we were at the start of January, which is around $2,400. So this time took some screenshots of it. If you look at this screenshot right here, so pretty much all of the coins went back to their starting position back on January 1st. Pretty much everybody was taking the money out. And on this screenshot right over here, I just want you to look at the interest because as the coin value go down, so does the overall reward. And that kind of represents right here. And it's something for you to think about because there is definitely some risk involved. But here's the thing, out of those downturns, that's when you have your best buying opportunities to go into the market. I'm just going to give you a quote from Warren Buffett. It's one of my favorite quotes. Be fearful when others are greedy and be greedy when others are fearful. So what was happening in terms of what was going on during that time frame was that everybody was pulling out money. Pretty much there was one big hit to the market and that just started a cascade of people selling off because they wanted to book in their profits. And there was a few attempts to save it. If you actually look at the charts right here, let me go back to that. There were a few bumps up during the slide to try to save it, but it just wasn't enough and the fear effect was on in full mass. Now, the reason why I gave you that quote is because during that sell-off, I wasn't really thinking about selling off my positions because I liked my positions. So there was no reason for me to sell off to try to book in profits because I knew those positions will come back stronger a little bit later on. Now, I didn't expect it to come back literally like the next day. We pretty much had an 80% recovery. I figured it was going to take a couple of weeks for it to come back, but it did recover super quickly. But I just want to show you my transaction log for DAI, which is the stable coin, which is basically like holding cash. And I always like to hold a little bit of cash. I'll get into that in a little bit, but during that time frame from pretty much midnight all the way until noon, what I was doing was I was taking out money from my cash deposits and I was putting it back into the market. Specifically, I was actually buying Cosmo. So if you look right here on the 11th, I actually put in $150 slowly into Cosmo because I wanted a better position inside Cosmo because as it was declining throughout the day, as you can see, with each purchase of Cosmo, I was getting more coins because the price was going down. Eventually, when the sell-off was done and it was starting to climb back up, I did sell off $50 because I did want that cash somewhere else. So I did sell off one position, but there's still $100 of fresh money inside Cosmo. And it's been doing really well for me because Cosmo overall, after that sell-off, has really been in a really good uptrend. So if we look for the week, there was this huge bump right here and it's been very steady since. So to wrap up this story very quickly, what I want to say here is that there is definitely going to be times when the market does seemingly crash and there's going to be very aggressive downtrends. Instead of trying to figure out where the bottom is and trying to hold on to profits, what you should really be doing if you believe in this market is seeing it as a great buying opportunity and buying more coins that you really do want a strong position in. In my case, I always want coins that's going to return me interest. So I'm definitely going to go ahead and buy positions in those. The last $50 that I bought was actually into Algo, and I did actually take that $50 back. So let's go into some more detail about the strategy. One thing you'll notice is that I am buying in small increments. That's because I just don't have a lot of cash in this account. So you're just going to have to deal with smaller profits until you actually have a larger reserve. Pretty much anything below $10,000, I think you should probably be buying around $10, $50, maybe $100. But once you get above 10,000, you can be a little bit more aggressive with your purchases. So in this example right here, on the last purchase that I had, I purchased basically 9.5 coins. and you'll notice the next one after that, I went ahead and I sold out that $50. So when I sold out the $50, because the coin was actually worth more money, I only had to sell 8.4 coins. And this is something that I do very often, which is I will invest $50 in, but I will only take $50 out. In other words, I actually don't take the profits with me. Instead, the profit stays with the coin. The reason why I do that is because I don't want to pay taxes on my profits. So when you do trading like this, especially in small amounts in which your profit's going to be very slim anyways, what you really do want to think about is the taxes that you're going to have to pay, because Coinbase is going to track all of this and it is going to report it to the IRS. So you really do need to understand where you can save in terms of money, in terms of taxes. So one thing that I do like to do, and it's the reason why I only trade in coins that I want to hold in long-term positions. So I put in $50, I take out $50. So from a tax standpoint, I put in $50, I take out $50, I go ahead and record that transaction, but there is no realized capital gains tax for me. And that's something that I've prevented because the profits are still within the coin. I haven't realized those profits yet. So I can continue to actually hold on to that profit. And then later on, when I really want to, I can go ahead and realize those profits. So that's something that's really important to actually know and think about. The next thing that I do want to talk about is the price of DAI when this is all happening. So DAI is essentially a way in which you can actually hold some money in cash. During the 11th, what you could see right here is the price action on DAI was that there was a whole bunch of people dumping money into DAI, which caused it to increase in price. But at the same time, I was actually taking money out of DAI. So I was actually gaining a little bit of profit right there. But something that's more important to talk about is that you always want to have some reserve in cash. And DAI is a really good one because it still returns to you 2% interest. So holding it in cash, you still get a little bit of a benefit. But if you want to buy when everybody's fearful, when everybody's taking money out of the market, you have to hold some position in cash, because that's what you want to dip into when you want to buy more coins. It's not going to be from some other fund because all of it's going down at the same time. You're just never going to pull the trigger like that. So it's really important to hold some position in cash. What I would say here personally for myself is that pretty much any account under $10,000, you do have to hold a little bit more in cash. I'm talking somewhere between 5 to 10%. So I try to hold $300 to $500 in cash so that I have something to work with when the market's going down. But once you get above 10,000, you can pretty much go to 3 to 5% because there's just a larger pool of money. So you don't really need to hold as much into cash. But at the very beginning, holding a little bit more into cash so that you can actually deploy it during downturns is really profitable. And what you'll see from me a lot of times is that when I actually put money in, especially since the coin is really cheap because people oversell because the fear effect is already in, it's really strong, you're going to buy it at a very cheap price, and you might want to just hold on to some of that long term. But what it also means is I need to put fresh cash in order to actually build back up my reserve. And I'm kind of at that point right now with my current portfolio, in which if you look at my DAI account, I only have $62 in there. And like I said, I generally like to have $300 to $500 in here right now. So I'm really far down. I really need to put some more money into it. But right now, the money that I have deployed, it's doing really great. So there's really no reason for me to actually change that. So hopefully this vlog was interesting this week. I might actually do another vlog midweek because there's definitely plenty of things to talk about in the cryptocurrency market. It's just getting the time to actually do it. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in the next video.